Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers for December 8 to 12, 2025 anticipate Nina Reeves freaking to be out and Dante Falconeri's claim. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, and also we dive into what's coming week, and it all looks fantastic. Let's get into it. General Hospital Curtis lies and Dante's demands Wednesday, December 3rd, we've Curtis Ashford telling Jordan Ashford after they leave the Bobby shop that he prevaricated to the PCPD. But is Curtis going to confess to Jordan that he paid Selena Wu a cool $1 million to have Drew Kane Quartermain taken out? I mean, that's the kind of secret you should take to your grave. Also, since he survived the firing, does Selena owe Curtis a refund, a partial refund, or a do-over to finish Drew off? Because he didn't get what he paid for. Lulu Spencer is severely honest from a place of love, and I suppose it's presumably going to be with Dante, who's telling Rocco Falconeri he doesn't want him hanging out with his big bro Gio Palmieri presently. So, I wonder if Lulu is going to drop a Verity lemon on Dante or on her son, Rocco. I don't know if Lulu is going to want Gio blocked out of his family's life. So, Lulu hopefully will tell Dante that he needs to find some bite, or he's going to lose Gio ever, the son that he said he wanted to get to know. GH spoilers Emma and Gio on a mission and Portia furious. It's also go time for Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake on Wednesday. They're ready to break those tykes out of Hank Dalton's secret lab. But I wonder if they're going to find doggies or if they're going to find commodity about Britt Westbourne's work for Sidwell rather. Nina tells Ava Jerome that Willow Tate married Drew because she felt like she had no other choice. So, Nina's veritably worried, but you know, Willow is at least not under Drew's spell, so that should be some kind of comfort. Nina's telling Ava that this day couldn't get any worse, and she tells Nina, not too sure about that, because Portia Robinson is outraged and marches over and asks Nina, "What, you suppose I shot Drew?" So Nina is going to know that Ava revealed to Portia about Nina discovering Portia's motive, trying to get the heat off of Willow. That fellowship may be over, which would make sense. General Hospital Sunny and Rick united and Laura confides in Kevin also, Rick Lansing and Sunny Corinthos are hotting. And Rick says, "Thens to that, whatever that is, lasting further than a day." The sisters are all grins. I've to say, it's nice to see Sunny and Rick getting on. No telling what they could negotiate if they were on the same side and united as sisters. We got a whole lot of fraternal consanity going on. I like it. Laura Spencer opens up, I'm sure, to her husband Kevin Collins, telling him about chancing Dalton in her box and all that and how Sunny and Jason Morgan helped. But Kevin wants Laura to know, look, that wasn't just you getting framed for commodity. It sounds like notoriety was transferring you a communication. General Hospital Thursday spoilers Britt's breakdown and Sidwell's power play Thursday, December 4th, we've got Jason handing out advice. He does that a couple of times this week. So, it could be to Dante, could be to Britt because she's boozing down her sorrows on Thursday. She's stressed, she's traumatized. This isn't good for her health. Commodity or notoriety dislocations and hurts Molly Lansing Davis. Hopefully, it's not Cody Bell. Perhaps Rick. We'll see. Sidwell's flexing his power against notoriety on Thursday, and Jordan is cheering someone. Hopefully, it's Curtis. But what's really intriguing is Jordan's about to be facing a whole bunch of heat. She formerly faced it from Trina Robinson, and I go Stella Henry is coming for her soon on General Hospital. GH Friday spoilers Carly's battle and Laura's haunting secret we're going to round out this week on Friday, December 5th, with Jason being there to support Britt. I wonder if Jason's going to find Britt formerly drunk. You know, she's in big trouble because of the Sidwell and Dalton thing. She really needs Jason right now, but I suppose we all know that Sidwell is watching Britt, and she knows that, too. So, it's really safer for her if she keeps Jason at arm's length, but she really needs and support her. Carly Corinthos Spencer tries to amend effects by the end of the week, and I'm assuming that's with her family Lucas Jones, but Carly is also taking a swing at notoriety who's in her house coming week. So, I'm curious. I'm hoping it's Valentine Cassadine, that he has escaped and shows over there, but it could be Jack Brennan. We'll find out. General Hospital. Laura haunted and Trina distraught. Meanwhile, Notoriety corners Sunny, perhaps Sidwell, or perhaps that's who Carly's about to catch with her club, but I don't feel like it's Sunny. He's further of a front door in a suit kind of Joe. Laura is feeling relatively haunted by the whole Dalton incident, but at least she's got Kevin there for the leaves. He's not going to stay too long because John Lindstrom is relatively busy over on Beyond the Gates on CBS Daytime. However, he plays this Joey Armstrong, if you've not seen him on there. He's a sexy, dirty toughie. Suppose Sunny but a little dirtier, a little sexier. He owns a summer house and an companion service and a lot of stuff. I really like John Lindstrom in that part, although I do miss him over on GH. Kai Taylor is there and steps up for Trina, who of course feels like her whole world is crashing right down around her cognizance because her pater S with someone new. She doesn't know it yet, but her mama S with someone new. It's about to get so important messier for her. Not going to be a veritably happy Christmas. General Hospital Weekly Spoilers December 8th to 12th Family Drama and Dangerous Pitfalls December 8th through the 12th, coming week, we've got Laura consulting Kevin on what to do about the Dalton secret. Now, Laura does want to come clean. She doesn't like this hanging over her head, but Sunny formerly said, "Look, you're going to get us both in trouble with the police." So, I do suppose Kevin may tell Laura, "I understand, but going to the Bobbies may not be the stylish idea." As Kevin formerly told her, she was transferred to communication, and that communication may be commodity-like, do-ent talk, or this could get a lot worse. Gio is relating with Brooklyn Quartermain and with Ned Quartermain, but Dante's being stubborn and letting his wrathfulness control him. So, I'd like to see Lulu and BLQ working together to try and cool down the temperature between Dante and Gio and get them reunited. General Hospital. Britt is alarmed Sidwell and Pascal are intimidating Britt, and this may compromise her health. Stress is super bad for Huntington's complaint. Plus, Sidwell has been hanging to withhold her meds if she doesn't cooperate. So, literally, her life is in that villain's hands. Drew is on a charge. He's a newlywed. He's trim. He's got Willow as his woman. Like he wanted, and Harrison Chase is out to wreck Michael Corinthos' justification. So Drew is presumably feeling like he's king of the world about now. And when Chase eventually gets some evidence that Jacinda Bracken was with Ezra Boyle, that's going to be a game changer. And also Drew can come out and say, "Oh yeah, plus I suppose Michael shot me." I feel to flash back that Michael takes a thread on GH. It was kind of intriguing to see Michael lurking outside their house, peeping in through the window at the marriage. And you know, if Notoriety saw him doing that, they might say, "Oh, same thing you did before you went in to shoot him." You know, of course, we know he didn't shoot him. Jordan and Curtis get much near despite Trina's wrathfulness. So do Portia and Dr. Isaiah Gannon. And it wouldn't be too long until Trina figures out her mama is also moving on, and she may lose it on both her parents. Jason is working overtime to earn Britt's trust. Jason wants to save her from Sidwell, but more importantly, from herself. The city of Port Charles was holding its breath, every corner and alleyway vibrating with tension, every heartbeat seeming to echo the drama about to unfold. The week of December 8th through the 12th promised a storm so relentless that no soul in this town would escape its reach. It began quietly enough, with whispers and sideways glances, but beneath the surface, the currents of fear, anger, and desperation were gathering, ready to explode. At the heart of it all was Nina Reeves, a woman known for her resilience, her cunning, and her fiery temper. She was about to have the kind of day where nothing would go her way, a day that would push her to the edge. Word had reached her that Willow Tate's marriage to Drew Kane Quartermain was not the fairy tale she might have hoped for. Willow had acted not out of love but necessity, a desperate attempt to navigate her complicated life. Nina's reaction was immediate: rage, disbelief, and a feeling of betrayal so deep it roared through her veins like wildfire. She was livid, absolutely convinced that the walls around her carefully controlled life were crumbling. And when Nina Reeves freaks, the world shakes, the evidence of her fury would be unmistakable to anyone standing too close. Meanwhile, Dante Falconeri, the stalwart enforcer of justice and father to the spirited Rocco, was wrestling with a dilemma of his own. He had drawn a line, a boundary he felt was non-negotiable. His son Rocco was forbidden from spending time with Gio Palmieri. To Dante, Gio was a bad influence, a catalyst for reckless behavior, a reminder that the world was full of dangers Dante could not always control. But young Rocco, fiery and passionate, refused to accept this unilateral decision. To him, family was a birthright, an unshakable bond, and no father, no matter how concerned, had the authority to sever it. "What gives you the right?" he demanded, his voice shaking with both hurt and defiance. The argument escalated until it became a battle of wills, a collision of love, anger, and loyalty. In the midst of it all, Lulu Spencer stood by, torn between understanding her husband's caution and respecting her son's fierce independence. The tension was a living thing, stretching across every word and glance, threatening to snap at any moment. Meanwhile, Curtis Ashford was navigating a treacherous path of deceit. At the PCPD, he had already tangled himself in lies, weaving a story to cover his tracks, but the truth remained as dangerous as ever. He had paid Selena Wu $1 million to orchestrate Drew Kane's assassination. The weight of this secret pressed on him, a heavy cloak of anxiety that he could not shrug off. Would Jordan discover the depths of his betrayal? Could she forgive the unspeakable, the calculated risk taken in the shadows? Curtis' survival of the shooting did not erase his guilt, nor did it erase the question, had Selena fulfilled her contract, or would a partial failure haunt him forever? The tension between truth and deception loomed like a guillotine above the heads of those involved, promising a reckoning whose arrival was inevitable. As the week continued, the city's pulse quickened. Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake embarked on a mission to rescue dogs from Hank Dalton's secret lab, a task fraught with danger and uncertainty. Every step they took carried risk, not just to their own safety, but to the fragile web of secrets, loyalties, and alliances surrounding them. They were determined, their hearts set on justice for the innocent creatures trapped by human malice. But even the noblest intentions could lead to disaster in Port Charles, where every action has consequences and every hero has enemies waiting in the wings. The suspense hung heavy, a tangible weight pressing down on every decision, every whispered plan. In parallel, the entanglements of friendship and trust reached a breaking point. Nina, confiding in Ava Jerome about Willow's coerced marriage, opened a door to confrontation. Portia Robinson, never one to stay silent, intercepted the conversation and demanded answers. "Do you think I shot Drew?" The tension between them escalated, a powder keg of suspicion and betrayal ready to ignite. Each revelation threatened to dismantle bonds that had once seemed unshakable. The line between ally and enemy blurred, and loyalty became a currency more volatile than any treasure in the city. Amidst this chaos, moments of tentative unity emerged. Rick Lansing and Sonny Corinthos, long estranged, shared a drink, their laughter masking the underlying currents of unresolved tension. The brief reprieve reminded them, and the audience, that even in the storm, moments of brotherhood and reconciliation were possible. Yet the shadow of danger loomed too close to ignore, and the fragile peace was nothing more than a pause between hurricanes. At the same time, Laura Spencer confided in her husband, Kevin Collins, about the haunting discovery of Dalton's body in her trunk. The message was clear, danger was omnipresent, messages were sent in the most terrifying ways, and the past had a way of demanding attention, no matter how carefully one tried to bury it. Thursday's horrors escalated further. Britt Westbourne, stressed and traumatized, teetered on the edge of breakdown. Sidwell's merciless manipulation, the looming threat to her health, and the terrifying control over her life brought the young woman to the brink. Jason Morgan's protective instincts surged as he tried to intervene, but Britt's fear of exposure and distrust of allies complicated every effort. This was the perfect storm, a combination of fear, manipulation, and the raw vulnerability of a person pushed to their limits. Every word, every glance, every decision carried the weight of potential catastrophe. By Friday, the tension reached a crescendo. Carly Corinthos Spencer confronted a series of challenges, attempting to mend her relationships while navigating the treacherous waters of betrayal and violence. Laura's trauma weighed heavily, compounded by the realization that her life, and the lives of those she loved, could be upended at any moment. Kai Taylor stepped in to support Trina, a young woman reeling from the upheaval of family secrets, betrayal, and shifting loyalties. The city was a pressure cooker of emotion, with each character facing imminent danger from forces beyond their control, some human, some systemic, some entirely unforeseen. Through all of it, one truth remained constant: Port Charles never sleeps, never forgives, and never forgets. Secrets have teeth, lies carry claws, and the past has a way of clawing back into the present with vengeance and precision. Whether it was Dante's rigid demands, Nina's explosive temper, Britt's fragile health, or Drew's smug triumphs, the week promised to expose every fault line, every hidden truth, every fractured bond. And as the days passed, the tension escalated, pushing each character toward inevitable confrontation, revelation, and the violent stirrings of retribution. The stage was set. The pieces were in motion. And every heartbeat, every whispered secret, every act of courage or cowardice would contribute to the crescendo, a symphony of suspense, betrayal, and survival. Port Charles would never be the same again. As December 8th bled into 9th, the city of Port Charles seemed to hum with tension, every shadow and alleyway echoing the chaos that was about to unfold. The week's storm had only just begun, but already the undercurrents of fear, anger, and righteous defiance were crashing against every wall. In the middle of it all, Dante Falconeri's temper flared like a controlled explosion, his patience tested beyond its limits. His ultimatum regarding Rocco and Gio wasn't just a stern request, it was a line drawn in the sand, a declaration of authority, a declaration of his own values. And yet, the boy's stubbornness, his fiery independence, and his desire to maintain his bond with his brother were forces that Dante could not contain, no matter how much he tried. Rocco's eyes blazed with defiance, his small hands balled into fists, his voice carrying the conviction of youth that could not yet be tempered by experience. "You can't decide who I'm allowed to love, Dad. You walked out on Mom and me before, how dare you act like you get to dictate my life now?" His words were sharp, cutting through the fragile calm of the household like a knife. Lulu's heart constricted, torn between understanding her husband's concern and the fierce loyalty she felt for her son. She knew Dante's intentions were rooted in protection, but she also recognized that overbearing control could fracture trust irreparably. Meanwhile, Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake were operating on a different battlefield altogether. They moved with the careful precision of people navigating a labyrinth of danger, their mission critical, their hearts racing. The dogs trapped in Hank Dalton's clandestine lab were innocent victims of human cruelty, and the pair's determination to rescue them was unwavering. Every moment carried the risk of discovery, the chance that even the slightest misstep could bring disaster. But they pressed forward anyway, knowing that inaction was a greater crime than risking everything for justice. The tension was almost unbearable, a silent pulse of anxiety that kept every muscle taut, every nerve alert. Across town, Curtis Ashford's web of deception tightened. He had confessed to Jordan Ashford that he had lied to the PCPD, but the magnitude of his transgressions loomed even larger, paying Selena Wu $1 million to orchestrate Drew Kane's assassination. The thought of revealing this truth to Jordan brought a storm of fear, guilt, and anticipation. Could she understand the desperate calculus behind his choices? Could she forgive him, or would this fracture the fragile trust they had been building? Curtis' mind whirled with possibilities, each one more dangerous than the last. The past, it seemed, was always just a heartbeat away from returning with consequences. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves was at a breaking point. Learning of Willow's coerced marriage had set off a chain reaction of fury and disbelief. Her voice, her presence, her very aura seemed to command the room, warning anyone nearby that she was a force not to be trifled with. Ava Jerome attempted to mediate, trying to temper the eruption, but Portia Robinson's sudden appearance only stoked the flames. "Do you think I shot Drew?" Portia demanded, her voice sharp, accusatory, full of raw emotion. Nina's attempt to navigate the confrontation carefully, to explain that she had only tried to protect Willow, was met with suspicion and outrage. Friendships teetered on the brink of collapse. Loyalties were questioned, and every interaction became a high-stakes negotiation of trust and power. In the midst of the chaos, moments of fragile unity provided brief respite. Rick Lansing and Sonny Corinthos shared a drink, toasting to the possibilities of a relationship that could endure more than a day. Their smiles and laughter offered a glimpse of hope, a reminder that even in a city rife with betrayal and danger, human connection could prevail. Yet beneath the smiles and camaraderie, the ever-present shadow of danger loomed. Threats were everywhere, some visible, some insidious, all relentless. Laura Spencer, weighed down by the discovery of Dalton's body in her trunk, turned to Kevin Collins for guidance. She confessed the full weight of the secret, hoping to find solace and counsel in the man she trusted. Kevin's response was measured, aware of the complexity of their situation. "This isn't just about you," he cautioned. "Someone is sending a message, and it's dangerous. We have to be careful." Laura's gratitude mingled with anxiety. The knowledge that danger lurked just beyond perception, that every action could have unforeseen consequences, pressed heavily upon her. Thursday brought a new level of peril. Britt Westbourne, already on edge from Sidwell and Pascal's manipulations, was teetering on the brink of collapse. The constant stress was jeopardizing her health, particularly given her vulnerabilities. Every day felt like a battle against invisible enemies, a contest in which the stakes were not only her well-being but her very survival. Jason Morgan's protective presence was a lifeline, but Britt's distrust made him an ally she could not fully embrace. She was trapped between fear and necessity, caught in the vice of threats she could not fully comprehend. By Friday, the pressure reached its zenith. Carly Corinthos Spencer confronted a series of challenges, striving to restore order and trust amid the chaos. Her efforts, however, were constantly undermined by unseen forces and the ever-present threat of betrayal. Laura's anxieties intensified, compounded by the realization that Dalton's secret could explode at any moment. Kai Taylor's intervention to support Trina provided a glimmer of hope, but even this was temporary, a fleeting moment of respite in a city perpetually on the brink of chaos. Drew Kane's newlywed confidence contrasted sharply with the surrounding tension. Smug and calculating, he moved through Port Charles with the air of a man who had conquered every obstacle before him. Willow at his side offered a veneer of domestic stability, yet beneath the surface, currents of fear, anger, and treachery swirled unchecked. Harrison Chase's investigations threatened to destabilize Michael Corinthos' alibi, creating openings for disaster, exposing vulnerabilities that Drew could exploit. The stage was set for a collision of ambition, loyalty, and vengeance, with every character poised at the edge of revelation. Michael Corinthos, ever vigilant, moved like a shadow outside the wedding venue, eyes scanning for threats, thoughts racing with suspicion and strategy. His presence, unseen yet palpable, added another layer of tension. Any misstep could ignite a chain reaction, unraveling carefully constructed plans and exposing hidden truths. Meanwhile, Jordan Ashford and Curtis Ashford navigated their fraught relationship, facing the challenges of anger, betrayal, and reconciliation. Portia Robinson and Dr. Isaiah Gannon began their own complicated journey, while Trina struggled with the instability of her family life, confronting secrets that threatened to upend everything she believed to be safe. Throughout it all, the city of Port Charles remained a living entity, pulsing with secrets, lies, and ambitions. The week of December 8th to 12th was poised to test every character, pushing them to their emotional and moral limits. Each decision carried weight, every encounter bristled with potential consequences, and the delicate balance of trust and loyalty hung by the thinnest of threads. The stage was set for a week where friendships would fracture, families would be tested, and the boundaries between right and wrong would blur beyond recognition. And yet, even in the shadow of danger, glimmers of hope persisted. Moments of encouragement, of honest communication, and of unwavering protection reminded the characters, and the audience, that resilience, courage, and love could endure even in the darkest of times. But the angry threats, the manipulations, the betrayals, they were all waiting, ready to strike with precision and cruelty. For in Port Charles, peace is never permanent, and the truth always comes with a price.